Somehow I'm cut off 4 times. Are you guys okay?
I also got cut off 3 times.
Yes.
I had to,
Are we okay now?
Yeah, we are okay now.
looks like for now.
I think it happened with
I reached out to Durga temple and I asked them, somebody else started another meeting and they're looking into who started it. So that should not happen.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you, Sunilji.
Okay, look like I'm back now. And let me continue with our stanza. So this stanza says that keeping the eye gaze between the two eyebrows, removing the external things out, and then through the nozzle, pran and apan, equalizing them, just keep breathing. So the important part is removing the external part out. That is the real part. But then the secondary part is also control the breathing. So this thing is connected in stanza number 28. And you can see the one line. Let's see how many sandhis and how many samas there. Yatendriya manaha buddhihi. So that is one phrase. Munihi, then come out, you can put it aside. And there is moksha parayanaha. So there are 3 samas, two samas, and one word separate, and all these 3 are lumped together to make one line. Why so? One of the reasons is we remember that all of the Sanskrit stanzas, mostly all, the 646 some, were written in chand. And in order to preserve the chand, we need to preserve the quarters of 8 syllable. And that is the reason that this kind of thing happened. Now let's see the samas, yatendriya mano buddhihi. What does it mean? I'm going to split the samas. Yatani indriyani cha manaha cha buddhihi cha yasya saha. That is one samas. At the end, there is moksha parayana. That is moksha parayanam yasya saha. And muni is in the middle. So these 3 are, after the samas, these 3 are lumped together to make the sandhi. What does it mean? With senses, mind, and reason ever controlled, that is the first samas. Only pursuing liberation, that is the moksha parayana. Now the second line, that is also now sandhi, etc. Vigata ichcha bhaya krodha. So how many things are there in the muni? There are yatendriya mano buddhihi. There is moksha parayana. There is vigatecha bhaya krodha. What happened to this muni then? Yaha sada mukta eva saha. એ તો કાયમ જ મુક્ત રહેવાનો. He is always free. So, the complete translation is with senses, mind and reason, yatendriya mano buddhi, ever controlled, only pursuing liberation, the sage having forever cast away desire, fear and passion, vigaticha bhaya krodha. Verily he is liberated. So it is also easy to translate and all that and enjoy at the same time the sandhi and samas. The last stanza will be connected to Vishwasarup Darshan Adhyaya. He is exhibiting his superiority here. Bhoktaram, I am the enjoyer. Bhoktaram. Yagnatapasam, sacrifice and austerity. Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Oh, I am the big, I am the great Ishwar of all the world. Is there anybody there to challenge him? Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Of all the world, I am the Ishwar. Why do you then brag yourself? There is no room here. He says Sarvaloka. એક ઇંચ જગ્યા એને ખાલી નથી રાખેલી કે જ્યાં કીડી આવીને દાદાગીરી કરે કે હું બહુ હોશિયાર છું. No, no. But at the same time, he is suhrudam premad. Sarvabhutanam gnatva shantim ruchyati. But at the same time, મને સુહૃદ જાણીને જ્ઞાત્વા, having known, મને સુહૃદ જાણીને, કોનો સુહૃદ? સર્વભૂતાનામ, of all the creatures. I am સુહૃદ, હું મિત્ર છું. જ્ઞાત્વા મામ શાંતિ રુચ્યતિ. Shantim ruchyati. By knowing that I am the friend of all the creatures, you will attain peace. So there is a connectivity here. And now is the end of the chapter here. But remember one thing, at the end in the chapter 5, he has prepared us for the dhyana, and that is why the 6th chapter has a name, Dhyana Yoga. So that is where we will pay more attention in order to learn how to do dhyana and samadhi, etc. Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita su Upanishatsu Sannyasa Yoga Nama Panchamo Adhyaya. So we have been through 5 adhyayas of the Gita. And now we are into this 6th chapter, which is Dhyana Yoga. He's going to move us very, very, very nitty-gritty logic. So we want to very thoroughly kind of try to grasp this. Another thing, the Gita's Vidyarthi, they should have a little piece of paper and pencil, something jot down when there is a striking phrase, because at the end of the day, you want to just go over those striking. For example, the last stanza was striking, the one before the last, 27 stanza. Sparshan krutva bahi bahyan. Oh, કોની મજાલ છે કે 30 સેકન્ડ પછી તમે બિલકુલ સ્થિર ના થઈ જાઓ. And there is a testing. આ બારનું બાર કેમ નથી રહેતું? કારણ કે મને એ બહુ ગમી ગયેલું છે. એને બહાર રાખો. એનો તિરસ્કાર નથી. But we are going to see the Loka Maheshwaram. There is a finer goal. There is a superior goal. There is the ultimate goal. Who would stop us? First stanza. Anasritaha. For many, many years, I'm very fond of this phrase, anasritaha. Tanga vagar. That is my translation. ફળ ઉપર ટંગાયા વગર. મેં એમ નથી કહ્યું કે ફળનો આશ્રય લીધા વગર. આપણે કારણ કે આશ્રય સુધી ગયા હોત તો વાંધો નથી, પણ આપણે તો ટંગાય જ પડેલા. ઓહો, આવું કર્યું છે એટલે આવું થવાનું હવે. ઓહો માય ગોડ, ટંગાય જ પડીએ ને જરાક કંઈ કરો. For many years, about 40 years, that is my translation. અરે ભાઈ ટંગાઈ ન પડો ની. કર્યું તો બહુ સારું. અનાશ્રિતઃ કર્મ ફલમ કાર્યમ કર્મ કરોતિ યહ. Whoever is doing the action without expectation of the fruit. And now the definition of sannyasi he is giving. Who is sannyasi? Who is yogi? He is going to tell that. Saha sannyasi cha yogischa na niragnihi na cha akriyaha. He has made so much potent statement here. Many sannyasis in Kashi Banaras, they have fire. They call themselves sannyasi. Some people just sit in the forest under the tree doing nothing. So he is wiping out the illusion. Na niragnihi na cha akriyaha cha. ફાયર વગરનો હોય કે કામકાજ વગરનો હોય, એને સન્યાસી કે એને યોગી ના કહેવાય. He is tearing apart the tradition here. Anasritaha karma phalam karyam karma karoti. पण whoever is doing the action without the expectation of the fruit, he is both sannyasi and yogi. What a marvelous concept. He's the beginning. He's putting the potent concept. And therefore, with a piece of paper and pencil, we want to write a line. I will do everything without expectation. That's it. And why he's saying that? He's giving the reason in the second stanza. Yam sanyasamiti prahuhu. Yogam tam vidhi pandava. That which is called renunciation, sannyas, no, that as yoga also. So he is now bringing the concept, a separate concept. So far the sannyas and yoga were two separate things going on. He is combining them. It is one. It is one thing. That is what they said before. Because, why so? Nahi asanyasta sankalpaha yogi bhavati kanchana. One cannot be yogi whose mind is planning the desire. That is the meaning of sankalpa. If you know, if you gone through Satyanarayana Puja, then the priest would say, Atma, Anjali lo, અને જે કંઈ સંકલ્પ હોય વિચારો. Sankalpa means what is their desire out of this Satyanarayana Katha. That is the meaning of sankalpa. So, sankalpa ની સાથે સંન્યાસ હોય તો એ યોગી નથી થઈ શકતો. Aruruksoho munehe yogam karma karanam uchyate. Arurukshu is a Sanskrit word, and Arurukshu and Aruruksoho, it's a Chakti Vibhakti of Arurukshu. What is Arurukshu then? We are not going to see the dictionary. Its meaning is wishing, desiring to ascend. Parvat par chadta hoy, jhad upar chadvanu, that is called aroh. Aruruksu, desirous of ascending. Aruruksoho munehe yogam karma karanam uchyate. The Muni who is desiring to ascend in the yoga, action is called the means, sadhan. Yoga rudasya tasya eva. But when he is already ascended, tasya eva shamaha karanam uchyate. But when he is already ascended, then the peacefulness, the serenity is the means. He has to be serene. Yada hina indriyartheshu na karmasu anusanjate. Not in the senses, not in the karma. Sarva sankalpa sannyasi yoga rudastaduchyate. Here is the definition of who is in the yoga business, who is yogi. When a man feels no attachment either for the objects of senses or for actions, that is coming from the first line. Second line now, renouncing the formative will, sankalpa, means formative mind. Ek pachi biju, formative mind. Then he is said to be enthroned is the word I would use. ત્યાર પછી એને યોગીની ગાદી ઉપર આરૂઢ થયેલો છે એવું માનવું. યોગારૂઢઃ તદ ઉચ્યતે. Then he is called યોગારૂઢ. કોણ યોગારૂઢ? જે સેન્સીસ અને કર્મ બંનેથી દૂર રહેલો છે હવે. And we will go one more stanza and probably stop there, because he is speaking of Buddhism or Jainism kind of concept. Uddaret atmana atmanam. There are two atma here. Uddaret means કોઈનો ઉદ્ધાર કરવો, કોઈને રેઇઝ કરવું. ઉદ્ધરેત, it's a potential form. કોઈને લિફ્ટ કરવું. ઉદ્ધરેત આત્મના આત્માનમ. કોને ઉદ્ધાર કરવાનો? સ્મોલ સેલ્ફને. By what? By big self. That is why there are two phrases here. Atmana means by the big self. Atmanam means to the small self. By the big self, lift the small self. Uddaret atmana atmanam. Na atmanam avasadayet. અવસાદયે પાછું પોટેન્શિયલ ફોર્મ. એ આત્માને પડવા નહીં દેવાનો. ડોન્ટ લેટ ઇટ ફોલ. ન આત્માનમ, સ્મોલ સેલ્ફ છે અહીંયા. ન આત્માનમ અવસાદયેત. એ સ્મોલ ગાયને પડવા નહીં દેવાનો. વાય? આત્મા એવ હિ આત્મનઃ. એ બિગ સેલ્ફ છે એ જ નાના સેલ્ફનો બંધુ, ભાઈબંધ છે. બંધુ બંધુ આત્મા એવ રિપુઃ આત્મનઃ. એ મિત્ર પણ છે અને એ જ શત્રુ પણ છે. બંધુરાત્મા આત્મનસ્ય તસ્ય યેન આત્મૈવ આત્મના જીતઃ. કોનો બંધુ છે? Who has conquered the Atma. येन आत्मै एव आत्मना. આત્માને આત્મા વડે જીત, કોન્કર્ડ, જીતેલો છે. અનાત્મન હતું, પણ જેણે જીતેલો નથી એનું નામ અનાત્મન છે. અનાત્મન હતું શત્રુત્વે વર્તેત એવ શત્રુવત. પણ જેણે જીતેલો નથી એનો શત્રુની જેમ એ behave કરશે. So we will stop at stanza 6 and we will just go over some confusion, clarification, whatever that you have. we will discuss that, and then we will have our closing prayer, and then we will shut off. Yes, Sanat bhai.
અમે જે બુકમાંથી તમને સાથે સાથે ફોલો કરીએ છીએ એમાં આ અધ્યાયનું નામ છે આત્મસંયમ યોગ.
Yeah, there are that is various books sometimes have some deviations, so that's okay.
Okay.
Don't worry about that. There are
The verses are the same. The verses in the slok in the this chapter are the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, the stanzas.
Yeah, but sometimes they have different labels. I don't know why. I have gone through more than 25 some Gitas, and they have these slokas are okay, but even the slokas, they have different, slightly different translation and different interpretation and all that kind of thing. So usually I just pick up one name which I feel myself personally that would appropriately represent the content of the stanzas.
Okay.
That is the reason, because I look into several Gitas, and majority of them have this label, but some also I have which have different labels. So it is a little bit of. Don't worry about that part.
Okay. Thank you.
We are very much into the flow of the stanza. Yeah.
Amrit bhai,
Yes.
sorry, the feedback.
Yeah.
The books, two books. Maya is reading one commentary book, and I'm reading the other commentary book, and both have different chapter names,
Yes.
like Anat bhai was saying now.
Yeah.
The-
Yeah.
I guess these are commentaries written by various scholars, and they judge it based on their understanding. I guess that's how the
Correct.
title might be appearing. I don't know what the problem
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Because Lord Krishna, I don't know
I
if he
have-
devised the
Yeah.
titles like that or not.
Yeah. I have gone through several Gita, and then I thought about myself also. I had a similar thing. But then I thought this Dhyana Yoga probably would reflect more of the representation of the stanza, and so again I have no choice about the
I see.
action. The label may be anything as long as the stanzas. And that is the great part in the Gita, that all the 700 stanza, you pick up any book, but nobody had change anything in the content of the stanza. So we are okay.
Right, right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any more? Yes.
Sahib, the Almighty prevails everywhere.
He's the only one. He's the only one there.
Yeah. So my question is that he prevails he prevails everywhere in all the entities. Now my question is this: that when a person, not necessarily person, any living entity, when it dies, the soul is gone from the body. Does it mean that he is not in that body? And does it mean it is the exceptional case of him prevailing everywhere? I hope my question is clear.
It is very clear. However, The, to conceptualize, because we have not gone into the samadhi, so the mirror image has not yet seen the real person in front of the mirror. The real person in front of the mirror can see the image, but the image cannot see the real person. And because we have not seen, we have to use the human language to sort of get as close of feeling. So his form, and that is why Mercy Arvind used the phrase fathomless zero. એક તો અનંત છે, fathomless. એટલો બધો અનંત કે he is fathomless, can't be measured. And at the same time, zero. He did a marvelous job in picking up these two phrases because both are contradictory, but both are true. Now, he's finer than air, finer than anything. He's so much penetrating, he penetrates everything. So in the dead body, he's pervading. If there are 1,000 dead bodies in the war, he is pervading, but this small shelf which was shining in the dead person before is not there. So don't think he is not in the dead body. Otherwise, there are historical events where the dead person became alive. Without that supreme pervading there, the small self would have no strength to come and enter independently without that. Are you still confused?
I don't know. But when you say the historical, because I also, read that thing, that the body was only fighting, in the war without having a head, on the body, that much I have read,
Yeah, but those 5 elements are also him. 5 elements came from him.
Right.
Everything came from him. Even the food we eat, lunch, dinner, etc., that is why we offer him again Brahma Arpana Brahma. Hey Brahma, તારામાંથી જ આવેલું તને જીવાડવા માટે ટ્રાન્સફોર્મ તે કરેલું છે. Everywhere.
I hope it is not a stupid question though.
Nothing is stupid.
But
Because
it was a confusion in my mind. So,
because if there was no mind, we would not have been sitting here to read the Gita.
right.
Mind has generated all this, and that is why Sri Krishna, out of tremendous compassion, he has narrated these 700 stanzas. Yes,
Question છે, nothing related to this according to me it might be. આપણે છોકરાઓને જનોઈ આપીએ છે, પછી જમવા બેસે ત્યારે અપોષણ મૂકે, પાણી ખાવાનું બધું પેલે, પછી એ લોકો જમે. એનો પ્રિન્સિપલ સિમિલર છે ને, સેમ છે કે નહીં?
it is. Yeah,
સેમ જ છે ને, કે તમને
That
અર્પણ
is-
કરીએ છે.
that small portion
યસ,
is out of gratitude that, hey, you have given us the chance for this great occasion. Without your krupa, this thing would not have happened. So out of that understanding, we just kind of, another thing, he is the giver, he has given everything, you have nothing there, but however, whatever that you have, you again kind of gesture. એ તો તારું જ હતું એટલે તને જ પાછા આપીએ છે, અમારું કઈ નથી.
तेरा तुझको अर्पण.
again in this
क्या
it is,
लागे मेरा.
બરાબર બરાબર સનતભાઈ.
Okay,
Yeah, sure.
very good. I will take one more question and then we'll go.
The Christians talk a lot about Christ being resurrected after his crucifixion. And you said there are several other examples in our scriptures. Did I understand that right?
One has to understand the meaning of resurrection.
Okay.
The resurrection does not necessarily mean that the small self has entered again and the person became live.
Okay.
The resurrection, it's a great thing to understand here. If you go in town, any town in the European countries, and particularly in Europe, if you go, there are so many churches and so outstanding construct you see. And you will see the resurrection in the presence of Christianity, not necessarily concept of the body thing. The Prabhu, after he departed, is unbelievable. So in that sense, means the bhav here is he was Amar and he became Amar.
Okay.
That is the resurrection thing. And even though physically we don't see him, when we go to church, or we go to Shiva temple, or we go to any temple, or any worshipping building. We don't go to the building. The buildings are all over. We feel, we are convinced he is right and right here. It's that is why the books are not enough, talks are not enough.
Thank you.
Is that, am I to, what I'm understanding is that this process of showing the resurrection is actually similar, the same as the worldly body and the Atman, bigger Atman, so that human can understand what is temporary, but Atman is permanent. So it's not like he died and he came back in the little self again. He is, like you said, he is everywhere. So he is the supreme. That is what he wants to say by the meaning of resurrection. Is that partly correct? My understanding.
All this language business, the in the previous chapter when he said, and haju વધારે આવશે, કાપડ, સ્કીન, કુશ ઘાસ બધું બનાવીને ઉપર બેસીને માઇન્ડને બંધ કરીને ધ્યાન દ્વારા તો એ ધ્યાનમાં all this language will dissolve. I'm not saying that we should not apply logic. However, when we step into the real business, there is infinite quietude, infinite tranquility. And crossing the tranquility, you go to that supreme. So fantastic. Keep asking the questions. However, the reality is different. I'm also speaking two confusing things. In the beginning, I said, please ask me questions. And now I'm confounding the concept. It is like, as long as the plane is touching the ground, it will be moving on the wheels. But when it is in the air, it's not moving by the wheels. So there are two things. Clarify as much as you want to through the logic or whatever. And when you will realize that, no, Dhyan is better, jump into that, discarding everything. And that's why I think I'm not going to say any more question now. But you can ask me one more. And then we will have our pratna and we will close. Anybody there? No?
How about the concept of Qayamat, Day of Judgment in Abrahamic religions? How do you interpret that in terms of our concepts of spirituality?
The judgment part, see, for common mind, there have been so much, in other religion, there is so much uh, so much worldly things created, then only the common people would. But the way in our Upanishadic and the Gita, in the subtle body, everything is stored. Also, the Supreme One is no different. You are dragging the whole court, judges, witnesses, everything within you. And so it is not that after you leave the body, you will be standing and answering some spiritual court, and there would be somebody and say pros and cons. That is not what it is. The action and reaction is so much minutely stored just within you, not outside. That create your ongoing path. And that is what the other religions say, oh, there would be a day and judgment will happen. The judgment day is every day according to.
I was going to say that.
It is not કે એક દાડો જ એ ચોપડો ખુલવાનો છે. બહુ મિરેક્યુલસ એને કન્સ્ટ્રક્ટ એવું કરેલું છે કે nothing to worry about. જે કર્મ કરવું હોય તે કર્યા કરો, બધું સાથે લઈને જવાનું અને તે પ્રમાણે ગાડું આગળ ચાલવાનું. That is what the Kathopanishad is about. One of the things is at least once in a lifetime, I think, just kind of go through our scriptures and see what they are saying. There is so much there. And now in India, there is so much scriptural publication going on, and they're very cheap books also, So in a relaxed time or something, I think a little bit of reading hobby would not be a bad idea. There's so much out there. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I think we will go to our closing prayer, and then I will stop the recording, and then we will depart. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sarve Santu Niramayaha सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतं गमय ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति 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 हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम
Thank you.